Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sav. I haven't made a video in quite a while and I'm really sorry about that, guys. But just a quick update, I totally did finish my precision nutrition course. I got my certification and I'm super proud of myself. That was a couple months ago actually, and I've just been thrown with life ever since, just with work and then traveling. I took my first girls trip. We went to Miami. It was so fun. But I've been getting so much feedback like, hey, why don't you still make videos? Why aren't you making videos still? Like, you have the personality for it. So here we are. We're gonna try to do this segment again. I'm like, currently right now, I'm working. I'm trying to work on a couple different projects and stuff because obviously the name of the game is passive income and how can we make money without having to clock in, right? I think everyone at my age is kind of trying to figure out this point out and like what I can do to survive. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, I'm also dating. Just to give you a brief summary of what happened. My ex and I broke up last year and now I'm jumping back on the dating wagon, trying to figure out, like who's out here, who's my match, who's my forever person. The name of the game is love, obviously, and that's what I'm here for. And I'm trying to go on these dating sites. I'm trying to set up dates. I'm trying to like give people opportunities and chances just to see if we can connect. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what dating is. Dating goes into marriage and marriage is important. To me, at least. I know it might not be for everybody else, but that is the end game for me. I want to get married one time, no divorces. I want a bunch of kids. I want a cute little family. I want a house. I want all these things. So where does that start? Dating. But let me tell you, dating in Las Vegas is challenging. It is atrocious. It's very, very like, you just kind of scratch your head and be like, why is this normal here? And I will totally get into that as we go into the different segments and stuff. But as my friends helped me out, I have a good friend named Chelsea. She helped me out with the name and everything. So welcome to this new segment. It's called Cocktails and Cocktails, which is hilarious, I think. But because it's named Cocktails and Cocktails, that means we have to pour a glass of wine or get a cocktail. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll be right back. This is way harder than I thought it would be. Got my glass of wine. This is my favorite wine, guys. It's called Miomi. It's just a red Pinot Noir, and it's super, super bueno. Ya tú sabes. So join me for a glass of wine, and let's get on with cocktails and cocktails. Okay, guys. This is gonna move around a lot. Sorry, it's the first one. So for the first episode, I'm going to talk about the first 3 men that I've met since I started my dating phase. And we have to give everyone nicknames or else people are just gonna come gunning for me. You know what I'm saying? And that is not my intention whatsoever. My intention is just to like be funny, share stories, share my experiences, and then also share like do's and don'ts of dating for both men and women in Vegas, because I feel like Vegas is one of those cities that are just very transient, and people, because of that, people are just money focused and money oriented, and 100% totally me too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a great job, I have a nice place, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I do pretty well for myself, but I'm also looking for love because I'm at that age, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put my age out there like that, but I'm at that age where like, I need to start dating in order to like find my significant other, find my forever person, find, like the bubble gum to my wrapper, which is probably not really a saying, but I just created it, so it is now. Okay. All right, so the first segment we're gonna talk about is Lord Farquaad, Kanye, and Loaded Balls. Now, we as a collective, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I say collective because I have these group of amazing women in my life, and I don't know where I would be without them, but they are my friends, right? So I have like one group chat over here, one group chat over here, and like 2 mains. So when I say we, I mean like my collective group. And I'm an open book, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever's going on in my life, I'm very open about, I talk about, just because I feel like I like to talk, one, and like people are relatable, you know what I'm saying? We're all going through similar situations, and it's fun to kind of go back and forth to be like, oh, well, this is what I'm experiencing. Are you experiencing the same things? Yes, no, why? Let's talk about it, like just different aspects like that. I also love psychology, like why people do the things they do. So probably makes sense why I'm an ENFJ, which is like a personality thing. I'm gonna go down the wrong rabbit hole, go back to dating. Okay, great. So the first guy is Lord Farquaad, right? I met him on Instagram, I believe. And I can't really disclose why. Okay, I can, I'm gonna say it. So we named him Lord Farquaad only because his name sounds like Farquaad, right? So like, that's just what we named him. All right, so I met him on Instagram, right? And we had like the greatest conversations, like paragraphs on paragraphs, and I'm a paragraph person, you're a paragraph person, and it was just like very like equal energy. It was so fun, it was so great. And I was like, okay, cool, like let's do this. Drop some digits, like let's go on a date, right? But I think before we went on a date, he actually came to my work to meet me in person. He came to my work and he hung out for a couple hours. And I was working in like the back section where there's no like general admission really allowed, but he chilled back there. Like my managers were cool with it. Thank you guys, appreciate that. Just throwing that out there. So like it was cool. He came, and again, good conversation. He was like attractive, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool, let's go. So again, we planned for this date, but also my brother was coming into town that week. So my brother came into town, and he was staying with me. So I was also really busy with work and trying to like entertain him and trying to do other things. And like also I was going through like my precision nutrition stuff, right? So I didn't have a lot of time, but I know that if I'm interested in something or someone, I'm gonna put my time there just like anyone else, you know what I'm saying? And we'll corner that, like flag this, star that part, because that's important on the end of this video. But anyways, let's get back to Lord Farquaad. So during the week, he was actually really, really sweet. He offered to bring me coffee. He did bring me coffee one day when I was like super tired, just woke up. My brother was here. He brought me coffee. We had like a little time on the, like little chat on the roof. So I look at this cute little rooftop in my apartment. Love it, super cute. It's a great like non-threatening environment, if you will. So like sometimes I feel like if you're just meeting someone brand new and you go to inside someone's house, it's like too personal, you know what I'm saying? So it's enough where like he brought me coffee, thank you so much, let's go upstairs, let's talk, blah, blah, blah. So we did, it was great. And then started to plan for our date. And I believe this was like Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. And our date was on a Thursday or Friday. It was like, no, it was a Friday. It was like later on during the week. So anyways, that part was great. Again, like super sweet, like I said all the right things, and just checked a lot of my love boxes that I require in a relationship, you know. And again, like his thing was communication, and I like that because I don't want to have to beg for you to for me to communicate with you, for you to communicate with me, so vice versa, even though I just said them both, so I don't have to say vice versa. Anyways, but let's bring on the red flags, Lord Farquaad. I don't know why I choked on that. I was like, so I was gonna say something, but I took a drink. I was like, maybe we should like cheers at that point. I don't know, we're still figuring this out. Please leave comments and things in under so I can understand and get better at these things, because I'm gonna mess these up a lot. I'm probably gonna say and like a lot again, because I haven't done this in a while. So just give me a minute or two to get into my flow of things. But anyway, let's look at the red flags of Lord Farquaad, right? So let me see, before our date, oh my gosh, so the day before our date was a Thursday, right? I'm at work, right? And I text him, I'm like, okay, blah, 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 like I'll hit you up afterwards, I'm heading into work. And it was a Thursday night, I forgot what convention was in town, but I'm a bartender and I work at like a high volume club here in Vegas, you know, so like I can't really be on my phone if I'm at the main bar. If I'm in the back bar, it's a little different, you know, like it's just a little different, but because there's no general admission and stuff like that. But when I'm at the main bar, you know, like I don't even touch my phone because I don't even have time. And even if I do have time, like I'd rather like talk to guests or talk to the girls, like just talk, you know, like it's just better to be a better employee when you're in the face of everyone else, you know what I'm saying? So it was one of those nights, and I said, okay, well, cool, like I'll hit you up after work, like blah, blah, blah. And he was also going to work, so I said, okay, have a good shift. Cool, great. My brother was planning on going to see him because he also worked at a club, and I think he was like a VIP host or a security or something like that. I don't remember exactly what his position was, but he was also working at a club. So my brother was like thinking about going to see him because unless he like had other plans in Vegas, I don't know, it was like a Thursday night, like I was like, you should go out, find some friends, blah, blah, blah. And he's got some people here too, so he totally did. Anyways, going back to the story. So he texted me, he's like, all right, sounds good. And then around like 2:30, 3 o'clock, I just got like 3 or 4 messages, and like I usually have my smartwatch on, so I'll check it, you know, and I can't like respond or anything to it, but I can check it. And he said something along the lines of like, oh, are you okay? Like, can you call me after work? Blah, blah, blah. Like very like adamant, but like something was wrong, you know? And we don't close until 4. So after around like 4:30, and we were super busy that night. So it wasn't even 4:30, it was almost closer to 5 when I called him, and I was like, hey, like, are you good? He's like, yeah, I just didn't hear from you. I just didn't hear from you after that. And I was like, well, you know, like I'm at work. I'm sorry, I'm really busy. But like that to me was a red flag, only because, you know, like I was busy at work, and I am giving you as much of my time as I can, but like I'm also at work. And he would say little controlling things, kind of like, I don't like you working all these hours and stuff like that. And it just made me feel like, well, I mean, then what are you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my job. You can't make me feel bad about it. So that to me was a red flag. And then we went on our actual date, and the date itself, I'll rewind a little bit. So the next day, right, was Friday. I went to the gym and all this other stuff, and he's just very much that type that's like, okay, let me know when you get to the gym. Let me know when you're leaving the gym. Let me know when you get home. Let me know, like, it was just almost too much at this point, because we haven't even had our first date yet, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I communicate very well as a partner, and most people don't have to ask me that, because I'll naturally tell you like, oh, hey, just got home, blah, blah, oh, my workout was great, like I'll text you when I can. And I normally don't ever have that issue. So the fact that he was like, oh, let me know, like it was almost like it was too much pressure, you know, and I wasn't ready for that kind of pressure yet, you know. Again, we haven't even gone on our first date yet. So this is like Friday during the day. And then I didn't let him know that I was finished my workout, because I didn't have time. Like, as soon as I would finish with the gym, I had to go home, get ready, because I knew that he was gonna come pick me up at like 6 or 7, or maybe like 7 or 8. I don't remember what time it was, like 7. So I was like pushing time, basically. I wanted to get ready. I wanted to like figure out an outfit that I was gonna wear, which I changed like 6 times because I'm a girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm like calling my gay best friend, like, excuse me, does this look okay? He's like, this one looks better. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need time for that. We are females. I am freaking out because it's our first date and I want to make a good impression. Not that he would say any less, because my personality is great. No, just kidding. But anyway, so I just needed time to do that. And the fact that he was so adamant, like he was almost like mad when he picked me up. So he picked me up and he came to my door. He brought me flowers, super sweet. He's like, well, yeah, I didn't know if you were home or not. You know, it's just like, don't say that. What happened? Of course you know that I'm home. Like, I'm sorry that I didn't text you like right when I got home. I was just like trying to do things, you know what I'm saying? But like, yes, I'm here, I'm ready, blah, blah, like, let's go, let's do this. So we had our actual date, and it was really fun. We went to this cute little restaurant. It was like a mom and pop shop, like off the strip, which I thought was perfect. The food was great, and it was a lot of fun. And then we went bar hopping afterwards. We invited my brother. My brother met us out for a drink, and everything like that. There was a kiss that was exchanged, and it wasn't comfortable, only because I did like him. Like, I was vibing him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the whole like PDA, like holding hands or kissing or something like that is very like case to case based. Like, I can't say like, oh, don't kiss a girl on the first date, because like if you're feeling that connection and that person is giving you the signals back, 100% go kiss the girl. You know what I'm saying? So in that situation, I was totally okay with it. I was happy with it and stuff. And then it got to the part that I got officially turned off. Now, mind you, I kept the red flags in my head. That was already like, okay. Like, not red flags enough for me to turn around and leave, just for me to notice and be like, I didn't like that. And of course, we're on date 1, so I'm not going to be comfortable with you enough to be like, I'm going to talk about all of my feelings with you, because I don't know you like that, so we're not going to do that. So we got to my apartment, and I live in a mid-rise, right? So you have to like park, and then you have to like go up the stairs and then go into my apartment, and you need fobs and stuff like that. So he takes me home, and he's like, oh, you know, like almost pressuring to do more, you know what I'm saying? And my brother's here too. And not that made any difference, because even if my brother wasn't here, I wouldn't want a man to pressure me into something that I'm not comfortable with, you know what I'm saying? So he was over here like, oh, I can come cuddle with you tonight, I can come sleep with you tonight, like blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't there. Like, again, case by case basis, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not that person. Like, I do have walls up, and it takes me a little bit longer to get comfortable with a person physically. and only I don't know, I get hurt easily. I don't know what it is, but like it takes me to take my walls down in order to like feel like it's okay to do that. And I wasn't. It was my first date with him. Like there was a lot of fun things said. Yes, I had fun. Yes, I liked the guy, but he was almost like, I can come cuddle with you. And I was like, no, it's okay. Thank you, blah, blah. Like, we'll just see how the next date goes, you know, like that kind of thing. Like, and he instead of being a man about it, instead of being like, okay, I respect that, like, blah, 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 had fun, you know, kiss on the hand, forehead, cheek, whatever it was. He wants to make that like a pouty sound, like, come on, why can't I do it? And I hate that. Oh my gosh, I hate it. So this is like another thing that we'll like talk about later, but when men like women that are feminine, right? But when they take on that feminine role of like that pouty, like, I hate it. It is the worst thing ever. Don't do that. I want my kid to do that. I don't want my man to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that for me was a big turn off, and I was like, not gonna happen, because now you're pressuring me to come upstairs in something that I'm not comfortable with. No, sir, not gonna happen. End of that one. So I cut it off the next day, told him how I felt about it, and he did not respond very well, because guys don't do well with rejection. Number 2. So then there was man number 2. Time to take a drink. Do you remember that drinking game, like back in high school or college, whenever you play drinking games, where you're like, okay, that one's a social, everyone cheers? That's how I feel like that just went on in my head. Yeah, anyway, okay, guy number 2, Kanye. I don't remember why we, as a collective, my friend group and I, gave him this nickname. I don't remember why, honestly. I think I just came up with it, and it was just easier and to reference. I have no idea. I almost just said his real name. I was like, but that's his real name. Obviously, it's not Kanye, you know, but I named him Kanye. This man is from LA, like the LA area, Bay Area, maybe. I'm not really sure. I just know that, I'm not familiar with California all that much, but I know that he lives in the LA district, you know what I'm saying? So I actually met him through social media again. This one was through Instagram, and this is probably the most beautiful man I've seen, you know, since my ex. Is that bad to say? Oh my gosh. Anyways, and he still holds that card. Kanye, good job. But let's talk about Kanye. So again, beautiful man, like works out. I appreciate a man that works out only because I work out, you know what I'm saying? So I need that kind of similar lifestyle in my partnership. So I look for a person that works out. Cool, you worked out. And he's a dad, he's a single dad, and he was a great father. He always put his daughter first, you know, like had plans with her every weekend, you know, like told me about her and stuff like that. So I commend him there for sure. Only because these are great things that I look forward to. And then he was super motivated. When I say super, I mean like super busy, you know, like he was leaving this project to go to this project to do this, and like on the phone with meetings all the time, and then personal training on the side, and like doing all these things, right? He's like a superhuman, and I'm so attracted to that only because I am the same way. You know, like I always have projects going on. I always want to do better, do things, like learn things. I tell people all the time, like one of my main goals in life is to learn as much as I can. Even on my bucket list, I want to learn 5 languages, and I want to learn how to play a couple more instruments, and I want to learn how to do as much as I can and just think in different perspectives. I just think that knowledge is power, and that's the end of my rant. Back to dating. All right, so those are all green flags for Kanye. Now let's talk about the red flags. All right, so I feel like in the beginning of most like talking phases, it's so fun to communicate, right? Like you're texting all the time, back and forth. There's pictures, there's messages, there's voice messages, there's FaceTime, all kinds of things. It's the 21st century. Yes, you live in LA. Yes, I live in Vegas. It's a little bit distant, but it's not that hard, and it's not that far. You know what I'm saying? It's the 21st century. So even if you are busy all day with meetings, give me like 10 minutes of your time. Call me on your way home from work. Tell me how your day was. I'm gonna tell you how mine was. Just check in, you know what I'm saying? And at first, I was satisfied there, but afterwards, like, all right, so I wanna say like after a week, I think his average text time was like 5 hours. And I was like, there's no point of texting. Again, cool. Just give me a call, you know what I'm saying? Call me at the end of your day, like let me know how it's going. I know that you're driving from point A to point B and you have time. It's just one of my biggest pet peeves with men is when they say, oh, sorry, I didn't have time. If it's a priority for you, you make time. Every human does, you know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's, I don't know, like your dog, your children, your significant other, you want to read, you want to do things, like you wake up in the morning with intentions, right? I want to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to prioritize everything else so that I can accomplish X, Y, Z. And I just want to be the one with the X, Y's, or Z's. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's not that difficult. At least it's not for me. And that was a big red flag for him, like was trying to convince someone to like, give me more of his time. So that wasn't cool. The only reason that we did honestly talk for as long as we did is because he planned to come to Vegas in a couple weeks after, you know, like meeting on social media. And I was like, cool. He was already going to be in town for like a conference and stuff. So we kind of like planned our date then. Yeah, so it was cool. So again, I was like trying to like go back and forth with texting wasn't working. I tried to like talk about my feelings. I was convinced that this man was married already. I was like, you have to be married because you're not giving me any of your time, and I feel it. I feel every part of that, and I feel like you're married. So one time he FaceTimed me while he was at the gym, and he was with like his friend or something. He was like, yo, she thinks I'm married, and like the guy was like laughing and stuff. I was like, that's because you are terrible at communicating. Your communication is shit, my friend. I did not want to cuss. Your communication is garbage. Can we just pretend I didn't do that? I'm trying to be as wholesome as possible, and that's not working because yes, exactly. So that was Kanye. Let me see, red flags, but I'm reading my notes, sorry. Text back average was like 5 hours. I said that. There's no depth to the conversation. I also, like, if you're gonna be in a long distance thing, you have to have some sort of depth to keep me involved in your conversation. Like, let's talk about your life goals. Let's talk about, you know, what your first kiss was, you know, like how deep your deepest relationship was. Let's talk about what didn't work in your past relationships. Let's talk about what you're improving on as a human. Let's just talk about things. Let's just talk. But that was not the case with Kanye. Kanye didn't want to talk. Kanye just wanted to. Exactly. Which is why Kanye does not exist anymore. And he even texted me recently. He's like, oh, what, you hate me? And again, no, it's not that I hate you. I actually really liked you. And I think you're a really great guy, but you don't give me enough time. And I'm not that person that's gonna beg for you to give me time. You know, like, I'm a busy person too, but I also understand that people prioritize certain things if they're important. And I wanna be important. And I'm not gonna have to show you and tell you my worth in order to do that. So let's talk about guy number 3, loaded balls. Loaded balls. Okay, drink time. Number 3, loaded balls. Yes, you have heard that correctly. It is loaded balls. Now let's talk about why we named him loaded balls. I'm sorry, I had to pause real quick because I just got text messages because one of my girlfriends knows that I'm doing this, and she was like, you should totally like insert the text messages from when all this happened. And it happened so long ago that like, or one, I probably don't even have the text, and 2, like, I'm not gonna expose these humans like that. But if you saw this text, this is why he was called loaded balls, right? We were having a conversation about, I think it was like NFTs or something like that, like cryptocurrency. It's a new thing. Like, cool. We were talking. Rewind just for a second. How I met loaded balls was through a friend. My girlfriend was like, oh, this guy's hot. Your type. Blah blah blah. You're hot. Like, maybe I can like say something. You guys can collab. So we did, and it ended up like being really cool at first. Like, our conversations were great. He was funny. He is smart, you know, like, and I wanted to meet him super bad. So I ended up meeting Loaded Balls. Again, he came into my work, and I met him, and I'm pretty sure he was a little drunk, but whatever. Like, again, he was hilarious, super good looking, you know, like just all of the things. But let's get into why we call him Loaded Balls. All right, so we call them loaded balls because we were talking about NFTs. We were talking about, you know, like the sandbox and like all those other things that are going on in the, I don't even know, the meta universe, if that's what it's actually called. And because it is a big thing, you know, and it's just a topic of conversation. And I was talking about all the little things that I know because my brother's really into that. So like he teaches me things, and then I regurgitate information and kind of like learn more things because, again, I like to learn. Right, so we're having this conversation, and then all of a sudden, like randomly, in the middle of the conversation about NFTs, like nothing to do with it, he's like, I don't know if you can handle me. I don't relieve myself, and I have I have balls that are fully loaded. And I was like, what? Like, what? Why would you say that in the middle of the conversation? Like, oh, and how am I supposed to respond to that? Again, he would say like really weird things like that. Like, again, not talking about anything sexual, just talking about life and goals and stuff like that. And then just like drop a loaded balls bomb. And I just don't understand it. I was actually talking to my girl Aisha about it, and I told her, I was like, yeah, like, he's super cool, he's great, and then all of a sudden he'll like say these like random things. She's like, well, maybe he watches white porn and thinks that's what white girls like. I said, nobody likes that, whether they're white, black, Mexican, like Croatian, nobody likes that. Don't say that. That's weird. That is F-boy mentality, my friend. All right, so let's talk about loaded balls more. So in person, it was like the greatest connection ever. He was intelligent, he is goal-oriented, he's super sexy, you know, like all of these things, like super, super great. But again, the communication was not there. Like, he would want to hang out maybe like once every couple of weeks, not like really making an effort to like hang out, not making an effort to go on a date. He never once asked me on a date, and I was like, oh, okay, so maybe that's not your thing, maybe you don't go out. But he does. He would post things of like going to Topgolf and going to like restaurants and stuff like that. But like, am I just chopped liver then? Obviously you don't see my worth and you're not trying to actually date me. So for that, sir, I had to close that page. I liked him so much too. And this is why dating is a struggle. This is why Loaded Balls and Kanye and Lord Farquaad, you know what I'm saying? Like, my next episode, I want to put more do's and don'ts into like first dates and stuff, because the next episode is going to be more focused on first dates, where this one was just like the first 3 men that I met, you know, like in my little phase of like, oh, I'm interested in other people, like let's see what else is out there. And these are just my first encounters with people. Let me just take a drink on that. I'm ending this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, work with me because it's the first one. The second one will be more like just talking and like hilarious stories again, because that's why I wanted to make a YouTube channel anyways, because I talk about things all the time. I just have to reiterate it again. But these ones are so far along, but I had to go back to the beginning, because how can you deny Lord Farquaad, Kanye, and Loaded Balls? That's hilarious. Like, just the nicknames himself. I don't know how. So I have like my next episode is about these other 3 guys that I went on dates with again, and I'm just going on like one date with these guys to see like what my experience is, obviously with the intention of falling in love. But if they're not for me, they're not for me, you know. So keep tuned. I promise it'll get better as we go, and thanks so much for subscribing. Please leave comments, leave stories, leave whatever you want to, leave some feedback for me. I would greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you next